I'm not offering any medical advice, and what you're about to hear happened while I was role-playing in Minecraft. I was browsing Reddit on my super secret alternative account, and I came across a question that I had surprising authority in: Benadryl overdosing. You see, back when I was in college, these little pink pills, they were about 25 milligrams each, and a medical dosage would be like 50 milligrams. I took up to 900 milligrams one time. Most trips, I would say, consisted of 400 to 600. I was in a very dark state of mind when I did this. In some instances, my life was better than it had ever been. I'd never had so many friends, but I felt the pressure of pretty much everything else. I felt the pressure of succeeding in college, and I didn't want to be there. I knew in my core I didn't want to be there, but what are you going to do? I haven't really developed a sense of self yet. I was 18. I can't quite remember when it first started, but it started out of morbid curiosity. I just wanted to have access to some sort of psychedelic or something, but I didn't. So I went to the next best thing, and I had heard that people have like most things in my life, I just seek out the most intense source first and learn all my mistakes from going way too hard in the paint. So I went and I bought Benadryl. I believe I started my dosages around 300 milligrams, which was enough to induce this feeling of needing to urinate, but you never went pee, and you could stand there and feel like you did. It's a really weird feeling. Like you constantly, it's truly an uncomfortable feeling. You just sit there and feel like you need to pee, but you never actually do. I do remember the first time I saw a hallucination, I was staring up at the ceiling and I noticed that there was like a beehive going on. It almost looked like a giant wasp nest in the corner, and I could see the scattering of bugs all around it. Later on, after too much abuse, I would kind of develop, I think it's called something like HPPD, and that's where you constantly have this staticky fuzz in your background. Luckily, it did go away after enough years of just not doing dumb stuff like this. But I had it for a while. I can't remember. Maybe, I think it was like close to 4 years or so. After all this abuse, I still had it. There was never a comfortability to this kind of stoned body high you get. It did put you down, almost like you were sleepy, but your mind was really active. So it's a very uncomfortable where your body's put down, but your mind is vividly active. Once I started upping the dosages, I remember sometimes I'd even take this stuff and I would go to class. I remember sitting in an English class. I'm pretty sure I passed this class too, and I have no memories of anything we did. I remember going to this English class, and I would see a spider crawl across my hand. But since I had been tripping so much, I knew that it wasn't real, but it was like a giant spider across my hand. And later, when I was at a job, I kind of worked at a library. I would see little black kittens playing around my computer, like at the base. Strange stuff like that, after effects. Those, I mean, it sounds like fun if you have such morbid curiosities to me to actually, what is it like to hallucinate stuff? But what I really need to emphasize here is that the delirium pretty much wipes out any fun you're going to have. All these memories that come back, even if it sounds cool to hallucinate that, came at the process of so much physical uncomfort and risk. I don't know what this does to your organs. It's not good. Okay, it's not good to do any of this. So I progressed my dosages to the point that I would see, people walking through my kind of, I'd make like a cave underneath my bed, and I'd lay down there. And as I was waiting for it to get in, because also another thing, the impending sense of doom. It just felt like something was coming after you, or something big was about to happen. You were being stalked, almost like it's a ghost story that's going on. The people you see, I guess, shadow people or hat people. I never saw any sort of hat person, but I did see plenty of shadow people. It was just kind of like walking through the walls of nonsense. Imagine Harry Potter when all the ghosts are just going in and out of the walls. Sort of like that. The dehydration is insane. It'll completely dry your body out. That's another downside. I can't imagine that's good for you. Really, all else I can think to talk about is the 900 milligram trip. This is absolute peak delirium. And there were instances where I got out of my dorm room. Luckily, I had enough friends, and somehow, I know this is weird, I was really picked on in high school. My 1 year in college, I was surprisingly very popular. I just knew how to keep up appearances well. I went to the gym. I dyed my hair. I was kind of this cool guy in a rather, nerdy section. It was more of just the place I was at than me, actually. So because people liked me, they kind of just was like, oh, what's Lane doing? They almost like, I think they thought I was aware. I was having trouble going up and down stairs. RAs would come by and see me on tables meowing at people. That's what 900 milligram does. You lose sense of who you are. It's coming back to me now. I was lost and I was trying to find my dorm room. Because when you get in that, your vision just blurs and things like numbers don't make sense. That delirium doesn't allow for one thought to transfer to another. So you're just constantly having new thoughts or new trains of thoughts. I remember I went up to the 3rd floor and I went inside someone's dorm room. These were foreign exchange students. Their door was open. I don't know why their door was open. Both their doors open. They were playing Battlefield. They had their chairs reversed and they were like playing Battlefield together. I just walked in. And it was like, I don't know what I said, but I remember that. And I left. I don't know how long I was there. I don't remember them talking to me. I guarantee it really weirded them out. But like I said, I was the popular kid in that dorm room, so I don't know. And another thing I remember is I went into one of my friend's dorm rooms and I put his Wii remote in the closet. I don't know. Luckily, probably when it was getting to the end of this trip or when it was going to get dangerous, like if I went outside, well, I did go outside one time, but I don't want to share that story because technically there was police involved and I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, my ex-girlfriend at the time was working at the front desk. I was going downstairs. She saw me struggling down the stairs. She led me back to my dorm room. I do remember my legs being jello and her going, "What are you on?" I think she texted me saying, like asking if everything was okay, but I didn't explain this to anyone. Everyone assumed because I had talked so much about myself and my prior history with substances that I knew what I was doing and I was under control. And plus, none of them did anything. There was no one like smoked, no one drank anything. In fact, the few of them that did end up drinking, it was because of my influence. Like I said, I was trying to uphold this identity of someone who I was not. And in my free time, I was doing horrible things to myself. I was depressed. I had just gotten off Lexapro. Was it Lexapro? No, I started with a P. Prozac? I think one of those. I think it was Prozac. I just got off Prozac for the first time in my life because I was depressed. I was really depressed about being at college, but I didn't know how to have those ideas. So when I got off the antidepressants, I went back to doing anything. I had this available. I was comfortable with it. I didn't have, stuff like THC available to me, alcohol. So I went with what I had, drugstore stuff. It's embarrassing. I'm glad nothing else happened. I severely regret taking that medicine in such a way. It's really, if you have allergies or something, take it. I don't like to take any sort of allergy medication anymore, obviously. I just, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope you all have a wonderful day.